So I had a slide out malfunction on my 2006 Crossroads Zinger, and I realized that it was this actuator here, this long black tubing here that went out. The motor was still working fine, but I had to replace this actuator here, and I'm just going to do a video today how I did that. So the first thing I did was take off the old one and measured it and make sure I got the correct one. This is a Lippert 40-inch actuator, and I went ahead and ordered that on Amazon, and it came in pretty quickly, and it even came with a free piece of wood, which is actually kind of nice these days. But the first thing I wanted to do was pretty much compare them side by side, make sure it's the correct one. And as I did that, I'm measuring here, I'm marking where this cup is going to go. That way I can just take that off the old one and put it on the new one here. And again, I'm on the road here, so I'm just working with limited tools here. I'm just using a crescent wrench and a pair of channel locks here. Now once I get that off that cup here, I'm going to go ahead and put that on the next one, and where I marked with a pencil, I'm just going to screw it all the way on to where that is, and go ahead and take that nut and put it on the other end here to be able to hold that in place. Really, the point of this cup here is just kind of give it a place to stop, the way it won't come in too far. Now once you get that cup on, I'm going to go ahead and grab that actuator and put it in like this, putting the non-cup in towards the other side of the camper where the front door would be. And I'm going to go ahead and hold that in place. Go to the other side and grab these two brackets here. This is what's going to hold up this actuator here to where the motor can attach to it. Now it does matter how these brackets are installed here. You need to make sure that the larger bracket you have is placed like this, to where the L portion, I guess you could say, is underneath, and then the smaller one will kind of hold into place with these two holes on either side of the actuator here. Then you just have two bolts that'll go through, two nuts to hold in place. Real simple, nothing too complicated here. Now once those bolts are nice and tight, I'm going to go ahead and grab that motor. The motor was still in good shape, so I'm not going to replace that today. And I'm going to go ahead and wire this back together. And it doesn't matter how you wire it, because you can wire it backwards and the in will go out and the out will go in. But if for some reason if you do wire backwards, it's just as simple as going underneath, undoing it, redoing it, so nothing too difficult there. And once you get that all wired up, I'm going to go to the opposite end now and go ahead and grab my nut here and go ahead and put that on all the way to my mark that I pre-marked earlier, just copying off what the other actuator was. I want to make sure it's in the same spot here. Now once you get that where I want that to be, I'm going to go ahead and grab my pair of channel locks, or if you have a crescent wrench, I'm going to go find this square tubing underneath here, and this is what will allow me to pull the slide out or in by hand, just by either going up or down. And once I have that in place, I'm going to go ahead and go back over here, and as I'm manually pulling this in, I'm going to make sure I twist this around, as you notice here, to where the flat side is going to be facing out. And this does matter because that is slotted on a piece of metal there, and it can only go in one way. And once I get that, just tighten up all the way. That nut there, I'll go ahead and grab my other nut and go ahead and put it on there and tighten it down to where both of them are nice and snug up against that piece of metal there. Once everything is nice, tight, and snug, this is kind of what the finished product should look like. There's that brace and bracket there, and then I'll go ahead and flip up to the other side here and kind of get an idea what it looks like with what it should be like all nice and finished. You kind of see the separation and spacing there, and it's really not too hard to do. Appreciate you watching my video, and I hope you learned something new today.